This was our first attempt at fostering. So we started in December, but I've been volunteering walking dogs there for a while, a couple of years. So we tried to foster, but we couldn't give her back.
In December, I received a phone call from the New Hampshire Department of Agriculture, who had first received a call from a police department that asked for their help looking into an animal neglect complaint. When I first pulled into the yard, one of the first things I noticed was our Jelly on the side of the house, tied to a tree with a big chain around her neck. Other dogs on the property were later identified to me as Jelly's dad, her mom, and a couple of her litter mates. The owner was willing to surrender Jelly to me to avoid further charges. The police department was working with her to get the other dogs veterinary care. One of the worst things I noticed when I first handled Jelly was how underweight she was. Due to her breed and her age, she should have been another 20 to 30 pounds heavier. Her body score was very, very low. She was technically emaciated. The other thing I noticed about Jelly was she had sores on the side of her body, which I did learn that it was because her litter mates were attacking her. She was the runt of the litter and basically she was being picked on. So once we got Jelly into our examination room and we were able to give her a good look over, we noticed a lot of other things about her, but probably one of the most amazing things we learned about this dog was she was one of the sweetest dogs we had seen in some time.
Mesa's condition, the first time that I saw her, Katie took me to see her at the Rescue League, and she was just skin and bones. She was decently natured when she was behind the glass. She wasn't barking like the other dogs do, and she was just very sweet looking, and just skin and bones though. And she was a little rough, a little skittish when we brought her home, and a little skittish for a couple of weeks. But she started to warm up to things, and she started getting her digestive issues squared away little by little. Still a work in progress, right? When we took Mesa out into public for the first time, really the first several times before people started to get comfortable with her, seeing her on the block, things like that, there were a lot of strange looks, a lot of concerned people, which was, in retrospect, a very nice thing, because they're concerned about the animals. A lot of the people on the street have dogs, so they've seen us walking our other dog up and down the street, and so when we started walking Mesa, they were a little apprehensive at first, but they said, "Have you got another dog?" And we said, "Well, we're fostering her right now." And they had started asking questions about her and what her problems were and where her story and things like that. And they were receptive. Most people, yeah. Some people were very put off by her appearance.
They told us we should feed our dog.
Yeah.
And her scars on the side, they look at us funny, like we are the ones that caused.
Right.
And when we got her, that was even a great improvement from when she was, when I first saw her at the league. Her color changes.
Her color changes, yeah, big time.
When we first got her, she was more of a gray color, and then as she's been gaining weight and muscle,
she's gotten more blonde. Her color used to be grayer than her ears and her snout. Almost sable, I guess people will call that color.
Well, it was funny, I told Josh when Lindsay called around the new year, because Lindsay had called and asked, she knew we were going back to school, wanted to know when we were able to bring Mesa back or Jelly back, and if we were willing to keep fostering even though we went back to school. So I said I'd talk to Josh about it. And he came home and I said, Lindsay called today and she wants to know when we're gonna bring Jelly back. And he looked at me and said, "What?" And I said, "Well, she has to go back. We start school again," because we originally planned to just foster over our Christmas vacation. And he said, "Oh, go back to where?" I said, "The shelter. We're fostering her. She's healthy enough to be shown to people, to be adopted." He said, "She has a bed here."
Yeah. She has a bed.
She has a bed here. This is her house. She's not going anywhere. So that was how I was being strong and saying, we're fostering.
I was
we're
weak.
Fostering.
You were strong. I was weak.
But it was the dog beds.
Within a week, I knew we weren't giving her back. There was no way.
But what's amazing to me to see in her is how poorly she was treated by people. Yeah. And she is so gentle and kind to everyone little beagles that are barking in her face. People, kids. She gets scared when the kids come by on bikes or scooters or bouncing a basketball, but then once they stop, she'll go right up to them. So she harbors no ill feelings towards people, even though she was in some of the worst conditions.
Not too long after Jelly arrived at the shelter, we were fortunate enough to find a wonderful foster home that took her in so she could spend her days recovering in the comfort of a home, in a real home, as opposed to a kennel. We received pictures of Jelly and her new pack members in her new house. She looked like a totally different dog. The most amazing thing to me about Jelly is being able to see where she came from. Gives me the full picture of the wonderful road she went on once she got off that property and came to the Animal Rescue League. She's a fabulous dog, and she's why we do this.